Hey lot, what's up? Are you ready for another Hunty's World of Pain on tour? This one's an absolute beast. Absolute beast of a game. And it's not one of those where I completely annihilate my opponent either. It's a long way from being a perfect game on my part, but damn, you need to strap in for this one. Because it's from one of the sharpest, scariest horror movie lines that you'll come across if you play the Freddy Krueger repertoire. This really is like a Nightmare on Elm Street line. Okay, so my opponent's rated in the 1600s. I've taken down a couple of 1600s today in Blitz. I'm really happy about that. By the way, it's just a 5-minute Blitz. Okay, so we have e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and the Spanish. It seems like the moment people get to between 1500 and 1600, everyone abandons the Italian and moves over to the Ruy Lopez. So here we go, Ruy Lopez, and we play the Jaenisch, or is it also known as the Schliemann defense? I'm not sure. But pawn to f5, and we get the exchange variation. Now, this is already, I'm already like hanging onto my hat at this point in time. Okay, so we recapture. And obviously that hangs this pawn. This is the whole point of the Spanish, right? The whole point of the Ruy Lopez is that you bring the bishop out because this knight is the only defender of this pawn on e5. It's attacked there, right? So you're threatening to remove the knight, and after black recaptures, you get a pawn, right? So, takey. And now, queen to d4. Now this is the normal move that you get in the Spanish game. This is all very well known, the exchange variation, right? The queen comes up here. So it's like white hasn't really won the pawn because now they have to retreat the knight, okay? And then you can win the pawn on e4. And now we have what you hope for in the Danish Exchange, which is queen h5 check. And you instantly play pawn to g6. And the point is that there's a very, very common pattern here, which is knight takes pawn with a fork on rook and bishop. So knight takes pawn. If h takes, oh no, my rook. Unless your queen is on this dark square diagonal, which of course she is. So white takes, I take. And now what you're hoping for is queen takes rook, which by the way I have had many times. And it's not only in the Jaenisch either, right? But this is what you're hoping for. But white is too clever. White captures the pawn here with check. And now we're in a situation where I've lost 3 pawns, but in compensation I have an extra bishop. And now, just look at this board, right? It's like white's position is very orderly, but their remaining forces are all still in the box, apart from Queenie, who is out trying to ravage the countryside. Black's position, on the other hand, is naked, because I've got no pawns on these 4 files at all, right? My king is bare and exposed, but on the other hand, my bishops and my knight and my rook and stuff are suddenly very active because of all the space I've got. So it's supremely imbalanced. Now, it gets tactic city from this point, okay? So, I'm in check. What am I going to do? The queen has 2 attackers on this pawn. I only have 1 defender, which is this bishop. So, I lift my king. Now that does drop the pawn, okay? White castles, though, does not take the pawn, they castle instead. I bring out my bishop to e6. Now we're going to go through the analysis after this. I haven't got eval on or lines on. I know that there are a couple of blunders around this point, but I don't know exactly what they are or why. There's still an overwhelm on this pawn. But in a way, it's not really detrimental to me for that pawn to disappear. Because I really want to engage my rook. I want to hide my king away in the corner, and I want to make use of open files and open lines, and the fact that I've got a bishop pair and white hasn't, and so on and so forth. They take the pawn. I move the bishop with tempo hitting the queen. Pawn comes down now. I think actually this was a blunder. I think here it says that there is like mate in 3 or something, and it could well be rook to here, because doesn't that simply force the king away? It forces the king off the e-file, then I can't go here, right? Because I can't block here, because I think queen just takes with mate. So I think white missed the trick. But when you get such sharp positions in a short time control, you're going to miss stuff. They come in with check. I simply move the king. Right, now this drops the bishop, does it not? And they don't take the bishop. Okay, I bring my queen down. In comes a pawn. Now I take the pawn back, so material is again equal. White chooses not to trade queens and comes here. And now I want you to just keep your eyes on this, right? It's like these two bishops together just bully the whole board, right? So bishop e6, again with tempo, hitting the queen. Queen comes down. This bishop now comes up with check on the king, right? Thank you for all the open lines. You know, if you could start a game and push half your pawns on the floor like a cat, that would be great. Look at this. Okay, king moves into the corner. My other bishop now moves again, pinning the g2 pawn. And we've got eyes on here. My rook is looking down here. Both of my bishops are looking. This is like the Danish Gambit. This is horrible. Okay. Again, white chooses not to trade queens. My bishop comes back with more tempo. I'm only 15 seconds up on the clock here. This is fine. They push a pawn. Okay, and the bishop goes back. And again, the evil twins from hell are just bullying the whole board. Okay, we have c3. Now my other bishop comes down again. And now I've got double eyes on h2. And this is horrible. I'm threatening to take with the bishop and then withdraw with a discovered check, stuff like that. So h3 comes. And now, knight to h6. This is a fork. I'm hitting the queen. I've also got now 2 attackers on here. Can the queen continue to defend the pawn? Well, no, because she can't come here because of my bishop, and she can't come here because of my bishop. And she can't come here because of my other bishop, and she can't go there, right? And suddenly she's really running out of squares, and white would really love to have a few free turns to develop the rest of his junk, but he can't do it. So that now white decides, wouldn't it be a good idea to trade queens? So I'm like, not on my watch. Okay, I'm going to come in here, and I might threaten a little bit of checkmate of my own on h2. King moves to here. This is now desperate. I have a think for a little while on this one. 13 seconds. I dive in anyway with check. King can move to f2. Now I capture this pawn. And I'm thinking, was this just a complete blunder? Because I realised the queen takes there, but I can actually move either of my rooks to f8 and pin the queen on the king. But then I realised, oh, bugger, because actually capturing the knight comes with check, so I don't actually have tempo, don't have time to do it. Okay, but white does not capture the hanging knight, and instead moves their king out of the way. In comes the knight with a fork on king and rook. King retreats, I take the rook. d4 is played. Now I put my queen here, defended by one of my evil bishops. Queen dodges out with check, and of course it just interposes a bishop with tempo. Okay, here comes the queen. I grab this pawn. Queen comes to there. Okay, what would you play here? Bishop g4 check. And it's like I really am just putting white's king through the mincer here. I love it. King moves to here, and now why not attack with absolutely everything? We've got rook to e8, check, and white resigns with 30 seconds on the clock. Absolute mincing there. You know, I thought about this move as well, but wow, just wow. And like all my stuff is on this empty half of the board. There's no pawns on that entire half of the board. Everything's dead. It's a desolate wasteland, and I love it. Anyway, let's flip around and let's have a look at the game review. 62 accuracy from Hunty. 850. Guess the elo from our 1600 plus rated opponent. Ouch. 1250 from me. So it is by no means anything that we're going to be dining out on and getting prizes for. But What a load of fun. So let's go through it and let's see what we can learn from this position, because I feel like I need to learn this. It's not the first time I've had it. In fact, while I've got you here, let's have a look at the Explorer. So my games with black. Okay, now here we go, knight 3, knight c6, and we have El Lopez. So notice here in my history, bishop c4, I have 550 games have been played against me, right? Bishop b5 is the Spanish with less than half of that. But this is now starting to become more popular. Then we have the Scotch, then we have the 3 knights, then we have the Ponziani, and then we have whatever this is. Alright, so out cometh the bishop, and with pawn to f5, lo and behold, look, the Jaenisch Gambit, right? I have a 58% win rate over 187 games. It's my winningest thing, apart from knight f6. I've played that 5 times and won every single time for some reason. Okay, but we played the Jaenisch. Now, the most common move that we find is bishop takes c6, and I have a 60% win rate. E takes f5, I have a 60% win rate. Right? This Freddy Krueger repertoire, guys, is not a joke repertoire, right? This shit works. Okay, so they take, you take with d. And now knight takes e5 is only being played one more time than pawn takes here. Knight takes e5, I have a 72% win rate, and the move is queen d4. And then queen h5 check comes, 73% win rate now. g6 is played. Knight takes, and instantly h takes. Okay, and how many times have they taken the rook? 4. 4 times out of 13 games, guys. They just grabbed the rook. Now, this is because I played a bunch of blitz, right? But let's look. Let's just look. I'm going to click on these 4, right? And these are the games in the current position. We've got, 3 5 minutes and a 5+5. And in 2 of those games, it looks like opponent has just immediately resigned. So there you go. So queen takes g6 here is probably the correct move. And then king d8. It says I've played 8 times. So let's go back to the analysis, and we'll see what the machine says. Okay, takey takey. Knight here is inaccurate. Queen d4 is best. Happy days. This is a blunder. It leads to losing a knight. Because g6 comes, and now it's a double attack. We're attacking the queen, we're attacking the knight. What's a girl to do? Right, you take. Okay, excellent move. Da. And queen takes g6 check is best. But look at the eval. It's minus 3.59 in black's favour. King e7. For some reason, chess.com hasn't clocked the fact that I played this move. It seems like king d8 is probably the correct move. The best move is king to d8. Yeah, I lost nearly 3 of my advantage points there. So it's king d8. So, one to remember. And one to remember if you choose to play this stuff as well. Okay. One issue with king e7 is it prevents knight e7. Knight e7 is fine because my queen defends this. Knight e7 hits the queen, defends the pawn. Clearly, it's a superior move. Castles is a missed win. What should they have done? d3. Interesting. Okay. Now I bring my bishop out. This is a mistake. What should I have done? Knight f6. Interesting. The queen's not looking at the rook anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, they take here. This is a blunder because I'm pretty sure it's rook e1. Yeah, they should have played rook e1. That would have just been winning, you know? And that's probably as deep as we need to go, to be honest. This was just ridiculous. I move here, and now surely you should take the... In fact, what should I have done there? Ah, take the pawn and the queen. Duh. And everything's defended. And again, I mean, complete idiocy here. And there's another mistake coming up now. After this is a missed win. Why? Best move here was queen there with check. Interesting. And that's nearly -8 for black. So, point is, I need to study this line. So I'm going to go and I'm going to plug it into my Lee chess study. I'll put the link to that study in the description. And as I say, it's not my proudest moment, but anytime you beat somebody about 100 points higher rated, it's a good thing. And it's a great opportunity to learn. It's a super fun line. I absolutely love it, and I hope I see it many, many more times to come. So I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.